Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we shall discuss the revision of the chapter water. Two chapters will be coming in your unit test 4 course, air and water. I shall take the revision of water today. You know water is essential for the survival and growth of plants and animal. Life is possible on earth due to the presence of air and water. So water is a essential element of earth. There is but and 2/3 of the earth is covered by water. That is why earth is called a blue planet. But only there is little amount of drinking water, because most of the water is contained in sea, that is sea water, that is salty, and in glaciers, that is frozen water. So earth is called a blue planet because 2/3 of the earth is covered with water. Water is used in many ways, like by drinking, cooking, washing, for the growth and development of plants, as a mean of transport, for generating electricity, and for sports also, and as coolant also. Now, why is water so important? Because it acts as a solvent to provide a environmental for biochemical reactions. It also acts as a transporter of nutrients, waste products, blood and materials within cell. It dissolves many compounds in it, so it is also called a universal solvent. Then water is an important reactant in certain biochemical reactions such as electrolysis reaction and photosynthetic electron transport chain. Sources of water, you all are familiar with the sources of water. Main source of water on the earth is rain. From this rain water goes to well, lakes, sea, rivers. So these are all sources of water. Then water, like matter, water exists in 3 states: solid, liquid and gas. Solid state of water is ice. Liquid state of water is drinking water that you drink, and gaseous state of water is water vapor. These 3 states of water can be interconvertible. Water on heating changes into steam or water vapor, that is gaseous state. When this steam is condensed, it changes back into liquid. Similarly, water on freezing converts into ice, and ice, where ice is given temperature, it's melt and it is back converted into water. So water exists in 3 stages, and these stages are interconvertible. Now we shall discuss what is evaporation and condensation. Changing of water into water vapor is called evaporation. Evaporation is very important for our daily life. We all dry our clothes by evaporation. Salt is produced by evaporation of sea water. We dry ourselves by evaporation. So evaporation is also a very important process. Then what is transpiration? Loss of water by the leaves of the plant is called transpiration. Transpiration happens by the stomata present on the leaves. Then what is condensation? The process by which water vapor changes into water droplets again is called condensation. You must have seen that when you put a freeze bottle on the table, after some time you can see drops of water on that freeze bottle. These drop of water is due to the process of condensation. The water vapor present in the air strikes with the bottle and cool down and forms drops of water, and the process is called as condensation. Now what is water cycle? Water cycle means the continuous movement of water from the earth's surface and water bodies as water vapor to the atmosphere, and from the atmosphere back to the earth's surface as rain, hail or snow is called water cycle. This cycle occurs in nature continuously. There are three processes in this cycle: precipitation, evaporation, and condensation. Precipitation means coming off down of water in the form of rain, hail, or snow. Evaporation, I have told you, changing of water into water vapor is evaporation, and changing of water vapor again into water droplet is called as condensation. The rain falls on the ground, that is precipitation. Then it goes to the resources of water like rivers, seas, lakes, etc. By the heat of the sun, the water from these water bodies get evaporated and goes up. Then what happened? Then when it goes, as it reaches higher, it cools down, and when it cools down, it again forms drops of water, that is by condensation. And these drops of water gather together, they form clouds, and when the clouds become heavy, they again come down as rain. So this is the water cycle. Then rain is very important for us, especially in a country like India, where whole of the farming is depend upon rain. So rain is very important for us. It gave us drinking water, it gave us water for agriculture, it gave us cooling effect. So rain is very important. Then excesses of rain, when in some places there is excess of rain sometimes, and this is called as flood. This condition is called as flood. It is a natural disaster. It causes a large damage to vegetation, to the people, to the living stock. Flood is a natural disaster. Another natural disaster is drought. What is drought? Absence of rain for a long time leading to severe shortage of water is called as drought. The effect of drought is dry and hard land, less vegetation, less fodder for animals, so animal die, less food for mankind also, so human beings also starve to death of aquatic plants and animal. These all are effects of drought. Then we shall discuss about the next thing, that is water problem. The sources of water are limited, but the population of the whole world is rising day to day. So whole world is facing a water problem nowadays. So water problem is very important aspect, and we should always try to conserve water, not waste water. How can we conserve water? We can conserve water by using a bucket and a mug instead of shower while taking bath. We should close the tap tightly after using them at home and schools. We should avoid cleaning utensils under running water. We should immediately repair some pipelines which have leakage. We should check overflowing of water tanks. We should recycle water and plant more and more trees. And also we should harvest rainwater to store it. These are the ways by which we can conserve water. Now how can we harvest water, or what is rainwater harvesting? Rainwater harvesting is the process of collecting rainwater from the roofs and streets and storing it for further use. The basic idea behind rainwater harvesting is catch water where it falls. There are two ways in which you can do rainwater harvesting, that is rooftop rainwater harvesting and roadside rainwater harvesting. You must have seen that when it rains, some water is collected in the roofs, on the roofs of the houses. These waters are brought down through water pipes collected in a big tank. This water is cleaned before use, and it contains many soil impurities and chemicals. Layer of coarse sand, gravel and broken bricks are arranged in the storage tanks, where when the water passes through these layers, it gets clean. So in this way you can clean the roof water and use it in various domestic purposes. Then next is the roadside rainwater harvesting. In this, the rainwater that falls on the tarred roads around buildings can be collected and stored by the technique Percolation pits are constructed. These pits are covered with concrete slabs having holes. Rainwater goes into these pits through the holes. After filtration, it enters the recharge well through the outlet pipe and gradually seeps into the soil. So this is how roadside rainwater harvesting is done. The advantage of rainwater harvesting is that it increases the availability of groundwater. So we have seen that it is very important. Now next is water pollution. Water pollution means reducing the quality of water. It is due to deposition of domestic sewages, harmful chemicals, industrial waste in the water, fertilizers, pesticides, all are washed away by rainwater and goes into the water bodies. By all these things, rainwater get polluted, and not only human beings but aquatic plants and animals also suffer. So we should we should take proper care of water and care of our environment, and domestic sewage or industrial waste from the factories should be treated properly before they're disposable into water bodies, and in this way we can prevent water pollution. So this is all about water, revision of the chapter water. One thing I want to tell you is that when you give the test, unit test, please take it seriously. Don't adopt unfair means. Don't try to copy from your copy notebooks, and some of you even don't copy, you just click the picture from your classwork copy and stick it. Don't think that the teacher cannot guess it. We can easily make out that whether you have written the answer or you have clicked the picture from your classwork copy and stick it. And even some of the children, they haven't drawn the diagram, they have click the picture from their book, the structure of flower which I gave you in unit test 3. They have click a picture from the book only and they have stick it. Please take your test seriously and don't adopt unfair means. Okay, this is all for your revision.